Key point 1. Respect your time to respect yourself. What do we consider a productive day? Is it being unable to sit still for a minute because of all the emails, calls, and meetings? Or brainstorming the whole day just to develop one small idea? Arriving first and leaving last? There are countless options, and many people who choose one of them or even none. But the common denominator is time. Workaholics would love to see their family not only at the dinner table, but stay-at-home parents would also love to restart their careers or relive their home duties. In other words, we all want something more from our life. But according to our own descriptions, have no time. Is it true, however? Acknowledging every minute is the first step to using it wisely. 168 hours per week at our disposal. Is it a lot? Is it too little? One thing is sure, we can't add more hours by forcing the planet to move slower. In other words, we have to deal with what we have. Luckily for us, Laura Vanderkam wondered the same thing when her career started interfering with her family life. A promising journalist, she met enough successful people to want to dig deeper into their secrets. The most important thing she discovered was that Earth doesn't revolve differently for those on top. However, they learned to tame their timetable and simultaneously create new practical habits. The good news is we don't have to stop dreaming when we procrastinate. Instead, we can use it to achieve our desired lifestyle without sacrificing our ambitions and connections. Some of the busiest, most successful people I've ever interviewed have told me that they could cram more into their lives if they wished. Laura Vanderkam. Key point 2. How to win the world without skipping lunch. Humans are unique. We are creatures with incredible minds, full of dreams and aspirations. Every waking moment, we are ready to solve world hunger, become a best-selling author, or promote gender equality in a TED Talk. Our minds are so unparalleled, they let us experience it in alternative universes. But in the real world, we don't dare step beyond casual routines. In our unique but wicked minds, there's not enough time for the essentials, not to mention our dreams. Ironically, there's too much time for everything if we look closely at our schedule. For the past few decades, business magazines and sociologists have fought for our time. The primary hammered words like 60-hour work week appear in their headlines, while arguing that they are nothing but surrogates of reality. In better terms, people are used to the concept of the 60-hour work week, so they answer exactly like this whenever asked, "How much time do you spend at work?" The truth is, respondents never record it. As a result, they give more abstract time limits that fit social expectations. After all, they're exhausted by the end of the day, having no time for family or hobbies. Isn't it an indicator? Ironically, according to studies, we sleep 8 hours at night and work no more than 35 to 43 hours per week. However, because we rarely monitor the actual time and don't include distractions, we often work more than we say. Suddenly, we have more than 10 more hours to do what exactly? We have no clue what we want to do. We're afraid of our own potential to take our dreams seriously. The week has 168 hours, which include 56 hours of healthy sleep, 45 to 50 hours of work, and around 20 hours of family time as recommended by research. Having done the math, we still have 42 hours left for our hobbies and new ventures. But if we don't know what we want, this time burns out in front of the TV, in one more Wednesday drink, or on social media. We can avoid it by starting with 2 things. 1. Track your 168 hours log for several weeks to learn your routine. The template is available at my168hours.com. 2. Make a list of your 100 dreams. Start with available activities to determine what you like and shorten the list to those you'd like to pursue. Key point 3. Love your work as yourself. We all heard this expression way too much. Do what you love and love what you do. This phrase has become so overused, we must feel embarrassed to mention it and sound shallow. But the truth lies in the simplest things. Doing our favorite tasks sharpens our sense of self in the world and gives us energy to go on, which projects onto our paycheck, whether it's a raise or a changing profession. According to the 2006 survey before the infamous Great Recession, 84% of people didn't enjoy their jobs. As the economic crisis peaked, yesterday's office workers started their businesses or went freelance, offering their skills instead of fitting the job description. They worked as hard as before, doing what they were best at, instead of wasting time on inflexible office schedules. This tendency keeps increasing today to replace office work. Office work is in the past, and so is the office mindset. Today, the younger generation often changes several jobs in a short period, which was unthought of decades ago. Unlike their parents, they prioritize self-fulfillment before payroll. At the same time, they don't sell their skills cheaply. We can learn from them by diving into our 100 Dreams list. Circle the activities you enjoy doing without thinking of financial reward. Think of when and where you feel the most immersed in doing them. Apply this time, place, and mindset to your work. On the other hand, any work can become tedious if we don't improve. Studies show that people require novelty and challenge to feel productive. That said, the time spent doesn't amount to quality output. Two other requirements to stay creative at work are the freedom to make decisions and organizational support. The latter means enough resources, efficient communication, and a favorable working environment. Altogether, these three elements stimulate our core competencies, something we do better than others. We can determine them by experimenting with activities from our dream list. As long as we figure them out, we can make these skills our new job. To paraphrase, we start doing what we love. But to love what we do, we should reduce mundane tasks, unavoidable in any job. 1. Note every time you're distracted. It will help you use your time more wisely by being aware of interruptions. 2. Quit, minimize, or delegate unnecessary work and focus on your competencies. Key point 4. Enemies to lovers with success. We all have that one celebrity crush that makes us wonder whether we want to be with them or be like them. Sadly, you won't find the answer to the first part, but Laura Vanderkam promises to help you with the second. Success is not a single entity. If anything, it's a mixture of elements, some of which are out of control. Take luck, for example. Even the most proficient entrepreneurs wouldn't have succeeded without a little nudge from the universe. But this notion should not discourage you. Instead, you can create possibilities to trap it. Luck rewards those who put in the effort. During her career, Vanderkam had multiple opportunities to interview people who were successful in their fields. The new knowledge helped her make a list of conditions to induce progress, which include 1. Having a clear vision of the next step. 2. Studying the statistics and gatekeepers in your field. 3. Persevering more. 4. Creating an authentic personal brand. 5. Staying out of your comfort zone. And 6. Continuing after the party's over. Let's take a closer look at this list. First of all, knowing your next step can save you mental strain and opportunities. Take a spare minute during your day to daydream or visualize in detail where you see yourself in the future. Don't be afraid to dream big. Don't mind the material resources for now. The next step is to present your work in the light of metrics. Most high-rank gatekeepers don't take risks unless you put your money where your mouth is. Study what's trending in your field and present a portfolio as proof. Receiving a satisfying result will likely take more unlogged hours and errors, so you must consider the time sacrifice. Don't worry, conscious planning and time logging prove there's enough space to fail. The importance of a personal brand is difficult to overestimate in times of constant competition. Of course, empathy is inherent to humans. Consider the qualities and values you'd like to exude professionally. Asking friends and family for a second opinion is recommended. After that, open yourself to opportunities by leaving your comfort zone. Attend events or places where people from your desired field attend frequently and build your network. It will be scary, but it'll be easier with every attempt. Finally, don't stop after you achieve your goal. Instead, build a new plan upon your success. Key point 5. How to be a 21st century housewife. As times change, our vision of housework does not. In the 1950s, women did the entirety of home-related work, far from reality today to women's relief. Still, some continue viewing it as their duty, refusing to take it off their shoulders. As things go, they have trouble spending time on other necessary business, like family or hobbies. On the other hand, studies show that more married couples with kids spend more quality time together over the last few decades. Today, housekeeping has become easier with robot devices and cleaning services. Families also started having fewer kids, which freed some time for more pleasant things. Despite all the progress, women still spend the same time taking care of children as back in the 60s. On the other hand, men also started spending more time with their kids. Interestingly, parents falsely assume that doing the laundry or cooking for their children is a part of parent-child time. A good alternative would be to outsource some home chores to professionals to spend more fulfilling time with children. After-school McDonald's or watching cartoons is invaluable, unlike not knowing our child's favorite brand but having clean plates. Children spend almost as much time at school as their parents do at their workplace. So mornings and evenings must be full of bonding activities. Becoming a friend to your children is a one-chance possibility. Some ways to enrich your family time include: use your 100 Dreams list, pin 2 weeknights and plan ahead. Treat your household chores as nostalgia. The list of 100 Dreams is a great way to improve time with our children. Look at the list and select activities you can try with them. Examples include puzzles, crafts, gardening, baking, and movie marathons. Planning your activities in advance is necessary to avoid choice paralysis when we have a free minute. Studies show we tend to watch more TV when we have no plans. This process doesn't bring a sense of accomplishment, making us more passive instead. Last but not least is romanticizing our chores. If we delegate doing dishes or cleaning to professional services, we can still do them with our children, but without a sense of urgency. Instead, we can enjoy flipping the pages of books we forgot we had or baking cookies together. Did you know? A house seems visually cleaner when horizontal surfaces are not cluttered. Key point 6. Don't waste a minute. The greatest deception is that we have complete control of our time. While it's true in theory, practice shows our brain tunes to white noise when we leave work, whether it's the office or from home. Hustle culture has alienated us from the concept of leisure, so we must regain this knowledge to use our time valuably. Studies show that people with nothing on their leisure plates usually turn to passive recreation like TV. If not, weekends often dissolve into chores and work emails with no actual recreation whatsoever. Luckily, we can hold control over our time if we are more intentional with our leisure. After all, research shows people don't enjoy watching TV as much as going for walks, reading, or even sleeping. The only difference is that these endeavors require more focus and effort, meaning a voluntary challenge. A short list of rules to reverse the flow includes: 1. Select a few activities you feel joyful about. 2. Schedule time blocks for them. 3. Commit realistic chunks of time and energy to the activities. 4. Apply the alignment principle to balance your relationships and personal goals. And 5. Make use of every minute. Let's take a closer look at these rules. Our focus is limited. In fact, our brain is incapable of multitasking. We must work on 2 to 3 things from the dreams list to avoid being a jack of all trades and master of none. An effective way to implement these changes is by creating time blocks. Based on the spreadsheet you made earlier, adjust your schedule to add realistic time limits to practice a new craft. There is time enough for everything if you do but one thing at once, but there is not time enough in the year if you will do 2 things at one time. Lord Chesterfield. Planning will most likely require changing your routine, waking up earlier, or having lunch during work. For weekends, however, the schedule may involve hanging out with close people. You may want to involve your friends and family in your activities to combine organic interaction and personal development. Their feedback, however, is critical. You can't force people to act against their will. Finally, consider all the small things on your dreams list to practice quickly, like listening to podcasts while running. But don't overstrain yourself. Realistic expectations are the secret to a fulfilling life. Conclusion. One of the biggest mysteries in history is where time goes. The week has 168 hours, which seems more than enough, but somehow we can't finish everything we planned. One week after another, we stop trying to do something more with our time, giving in to TV and TikTok. We refuse to take responsibility for how we spend our day, exhausted by work and home chores. Exhaustion and hustle culture makes us less attentive to our time-spending habits. And when we finally take a courageous look at our week, we can't help but feel the dread of wasted days. It's easier to justify our lack of enthusiasm by spending unnecessarily long hours at work. Self-development is hard work for which we are accountable, and more often than not, we refuse to try new things because of fear. Our job becomes our comfort zone while we're afraid of our dreams. Our perception of 168 hours has everything to do with a desired job, happy relationships, goals, and means to achieve them. Ignoring how we spend our time means never giving our better life a chance. Change is scary, but fleeting time is horrifying. By observing how we spend our week, we face our weaknesses and admit the need to revise our choices. On the one hand, it means changing how we work, what we do, what people we meet, and so many other questions to ask ourselves. But on the other hand, it's finally the chance to start anew and slowly create a life of our dreams. Try this. 1. Record the time you and your spouse spend on house chores. Which can you minimize or outsource? 2. Practice meditation to deepen your conscience and clarify your goals and dreams. 3. Try using apps like HourStack to record your time on specific activities.